I realized something this morning, and I wish somebody would have told me this when I was in the deepest part of my overthinking and overanalyzing of relationships. And, you know, it really kind of dawned on me that we do this work to heal, we do this work to overcome overthinking and to move forward in a different way so that we can know what it's like to live our lives again, to be present with our lives again, and the beauty and the gratitude that comes with that. So I want to talk about that today and my little glimpse that I had this morning that was a beautiful reminder of everything that exists now, not just what I'm going towards or working towards, which in the Western world, a lot of us are more focused on where we're going, not what we have. And we miss a lot when we're in that space. My name is Crystal Hoban. I'm a love and relationship coach, and I help empathetic and sensitive women come back to themselves. Get out of your head, stop overthinking, stop overanalyzing relationships so you can come home to yourself so that you can then create secure, healthy relationships where you feel seen and understood. Let's get into it. This morning, what really made me kind of start reflecting on this, which I'm a reflective person, if you haven't realized from all of the different podcasts I do, the way that I think about things, like I'm a very deeply reflective kind of person. I have always been the type of person to ask why. I always want to understand how things work. I was definitely that person that totally pissed everybody off because I did not just take things with face value. I have never been somebody who's done that. I have always wanted to know why, and I've wanted somebody to always be able to explain it to me. And if you can't explain it, then I don't know that I can believe it, right? And it's not so much because I'm trying to challenge you. It's just that I deeply want to understand those things. And this morning, what's really bringing this to my attention, and I'm feeling so called to share this today, is that I was sitting this morning and I was journaling with my dog, and she wanted to play. And it really brought me back because, 5 years ago, I was in so many relationships and so many situations that didn't feel good to me, right? Like I was literally just performing to maintain a lifestyle that I actually didn't really want, but I thought I was supposed to want. And I'm sure that you could probably identify and connect with that, where we kind of grow up with this idea of like what we're supposed to want and what things are supposed to look like. And then we fall into that box. And a lot of the times we're living in that space and it's like we're a robot. And I think that was really how I felt, not just in relationships, but in my life in general. And it took all of my energy, right, to keep living that way. And one of the things that really took up a lot of my headspace during that time for me was relationships, worrying about, am I doing enough in relationships? Am I showing up enough in relationships? Am I going to be abandoned? Am I going to be rejected? Am I going to be left? Am I connecting enough? Am I reaching out enough? Right? Like all of these things. And I was definitely the type of person who I like overdid it, right? I felt like I had to maintain relationships and keep them together. And it took me a really long time to realize that that was an imbalance I was creating in those relationships, right? But the point of me sharing this more so is that, I was so much thinking about relationships and what I had to do to keep them and what I had to do to maintain them. Like I was so in my head about it. I was so analytical about it. I was so overthinking it. And this wasn't just romantic relationships. This was, any type of family relationship, any type of relationship. Like this is how I functioned within them. And it was like I couldn't be present with myself and I couldn't enjoy moments of joy or even recognize moments of joy because I was so in my head thinking about what I needed to do to maintain, to keep things going, to hold on to, right? And this morning was kind of like this realization, this like aha moment, if you will. And it was really this note, like I think that a lot of the times we think about healing as a way to maybe feel better, right? A way to be happy again. But I think this is like one of the number one signs that you are healing. And It's being able to kind of notice in one moment in time, recognizing and seeing yourself differently, right? So this morning, I was playing with my dog and we were having fun, and she was playing with her toy and we were playing tug of war, and I was really embodied in it. I was really present with it. I was really focused in it. And I wasn't thinking about anything else but our relationship and us and me and her. And it was this really beautiful moment where it was like, wow, Crystal, you've done so well at protecting your mind, protecting your space, shifting your beliefs, not trying to hold on to things that were never meant to be yours to begin with. And because you've been able to release and let go of those things, you've been able to protect your energy and your space, you're able to have this really beautiful moment this morning where you're able to just be with Chrissy, just love on Chrissy, just like recognize the love that you already have in your life, to recognize what has always been there, but that you have overlooked or you have not seen or you haven't taken recognition of. And it was really a deeply beautiful moment for me because it was a reminder that there's so much beauty in our lives. But do we stop and do we take note of it and do we acknowledge it? Do we stop? Do we smell the roses? Do we stop and admire them? Do we stop and recognize who we already are and everything that we already have? Or in this Western world, right? In the United States, whatever you want to call it, are we constantly trying to strive for more that we miss everything that's already here, everything that we've already built, everything that we already are? And when you can take a moment and you can have gratitude for what you already have, when you can take a moment and you can see the life that you are living and see the beautiful moments in it and truly, truly take a moment and experience that and feel that, that is when you know you're healing. When you're not constantly striving to become more, you're not constantly focused on becoming, but you're actually able to recognize where you are right now, who you are right now, and everything that's beautiful in your life that's been here right now. And as I reflect back on my life over the last, I don't know, 5, 10 years, right? I've had Chrissy, she's about 8 years old now. So I've had her about 8 years. And when I reflect on my life through the different stages of having her, there was a time where I was so in my head, worried about the past, worried about the future, over analyzing relationships, over analyzing what I needed to do, trying to date, right? All these different things, that I missed some of the most beautiful moments. Those beautiful moments that are 5 or 10 seconds that we either acknowledge and see and take note of and stop, or we don't and we miss them. And this morning, I got one. This morning, I caught one. This morning, I felt one. And you know that you're healing when you start to recognize and feel those things more, when you start to have gratitude for what you already have. And that's also, in my personal belief, an energetic shift, an energetic change, right? And that comes with nervous system regulation. That comes with you being able to stop and slow down. That comes with you being able to be present. And it's very difficult to be present if you are uncomfortable in being present, right? So there's this nervous system piece to this as well. And I would say that that's a lot of what I've done. And it's a lot of what needs to happen, right, when we're overthinking, because that's usually a nervous system overactivation. But that's a topic for another time. But I think my point of coming on here and the point of sharing this with you is because I want you to take note. I want you to take a second and sit with yourself. And I want you to acknowledge what you have already. What beauty already exists within your life that you maybe don't acknowledge on a day to day basis, that you maybe don't take note of. that maybe because you're so in your mind overthinking and overanalyzing and worrying about the future and the past and relationships and what's going to happen and all, we miss it. We miss it. And the only way for us to be able to catch those is for us to be able to take a moment and be intentional. And so a lot of what I do on a regular basis and I guide clients to do as well is a gratitude list. And usually I say try it at the end of the night. So when I was first starting to do a lot of this work, that was kind of what I did. Is I would do gratitude at the end of the day. And I would think of 3 things that I was grateful for at the end of my day. And the reason that I did it at the end of my day is because when you have it at the end of your day, you start to seek those things out throughout the day to put on that list so that you can have things to your list at the end of the day, right? So you'll start noticing those little moments as you move through the day. They call them glimpses sometimes. And as you are able to recognize those little moments and you're intentional about it, the more you will see of them, the more you will experience them, the more you will have them. And that's what actually started my journey of being able to have these really beautiful moments, is being very intentional about them. I don't do the list anymore. It kind of becomes how you function and how you think and what you seek for, right? Like some of these things are to build habit, build foundation, build certain intentions, right? And then eventually you don't need them in the same way that you did because they just become automatic. And that's the goal, right? That's another way you know you're healing. And being able to have those moments of peace and presence and happiness and safety and just reassurance that everything is good right now, right? That's what we heal for. We heal so that we can experience more joy. We heal so that we can experience more happiness. We heal so that we can experience what we already have. Because when you can recognize what you already have, and you can be so in love with that, then that's when abundance starts to overflow. When new things come in and that starts to feel even more beautiful and more abundant, right? And then things just add to your life because you're already there, right? It's a mindset. It's a way of being, it's an intention. It's a way of walking through life intentionally. And this is a lot of what I teach. And it's such a beautiful thing when you are able to create these habits, because no matter what is happening in your life, there's always going to be good and bad, but you get to experience and you get to feel what you focus on, right? And when you learn how to manage your overthinking, when you learn how to manage your analytical thinking, you get to experience so much more joy. There's a time and place for that. Don't get me wrong. I still analytically think about things, but my focus is in a different place that actually benefits me and moves me forward. It's not in a place of worry and fear and anxiety. It's actually in a place of building and creating and becoming and growing, right? And that's the difference. It's where we choose to focus it, right? Because if you're an analytical person, you think deeply about things, that's part of who you are. But being able to recognize what you're thinking deeply about, that's where the challenge comes in. And that's where there's some healing that needs to shift, right? And I have found that the reason that I overthought relationships, the reason I was so anxious and analytical in relationships, right? The reason that I would get caught in like trying to figure things out and make sure things were okay and like missing my life because I'm focused on making sure these relationships aren't going to leave me, they're not going to reject me, that they're going to stay in my life, right? I was so caught up in that that is where my mind and my depth went, right? My creative energy, everything, rather than towards myself, towards me, towards creating something beautiful. And it's this shift, right? So if you're like me and you are a deeply analytical person, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just about recognizing where you're focusing it on, if it's going to benefit you or if it's going to keep you in a place of anxiety and overthinking and overanalyzing. And you get to choose. and you get to decide. And there's just a couple of little tweaks that you have to make in there to be able to do that. But that is within your choice. That is within your control. And when you're focused on the things that feed you, the things that move you forward, the things that are healing, the things that make you excited, that's when you start to experience more joy. That's when you start to experience more peace and presence and excitement and truly begin to live again. Because that's what we're here for, right? To experience what it's like to live. I am just so grateful to be able to come on here and share that with you. And I hope that you can take some time today to have gratitude for yourself and where you are exactly right now in this moment in your own life so that things can add to your life, because that's the goal. And that's actually what brings in abundance. I am working on a program right now that I'm going to be launching in the middle of September, and it's called The Unshakable Woman. The idea of this program is that it's a free program that I'm going to be offering for a couple of days. I haven't gotten the specifics down yet. I'm working on it. But it's going to be teaching you how to stop overanalyzing relationships. And when his behavior confuses you, what do you do with that? How do you get out of the overthinking, out of the overanalyzation, and instead figure out what you need to do to move forward? Instead of staying stuck there, how do you shift into another space? So that's exactly what I'm going to be teaching and going through. And it's so that you can learn how to refocus your energy, refocus your mind on yourself, refocus your thoughts, your creative energy on you, so that you can start to build healthier relationships, secure relationships. And that starts with the secure relationship you have with yourself. So keep an eye out. I will be putting that out there, little feelers within the next couple of weeks. And if you would like more information about any of my coaching, you can go to crystalclearmystic.com. Take care.